My rule of thumb is life is always what's behind door number 3. You could also call it the gray area, because sometimes, like if life is a game show and they're going, here's door number 1 and door number 2, but there's nothing in the contract that says you only have to pick from door number 1 or door number 2. You could say, I picked door number 3, and they might say, well, we don't have a door number 3 currently. We're building it. It might take a year. I don't know what game show that would be where they say door number 1 or door number 2, and someone says door number 3, and they say we're building it, it'll take a year. Does that contestant then come back a year later? This analogy is terrible, but I still think it's great advice that in general, sometimes the uncomfortable gray area is where we're supposed to be before we know what decision to make, and we don't need to trap ourselves into thinking door number 1, door number 2. I think your thoughts can inform your mood, which then can inform your performance. If you have a big thing coming up, I don't know, you're in some kind of competition where you throw a stick and you're saying, I don't know what that is. Is that a javelin? No one in a javelin competition is listening to this podcast. They're busy practicing throwing the javelin. But I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be the secret. It's more like, obviously, if you are about to do something and you just only keep thinking negative things, you could, at the very least, psych yourself out. At the most weird vibrational level, it could change your brain chemistry, affect who you are, become a habit. And then when you fuck up, you don't even realize it was because of what you were thinking, and you think it's who you're destined to be, blah, blah, blah. But I don't believe that anyone is putting out a certain energy into the universe that makes certain people on a dating app come through for them. I mean, you just can't live that way. This notion that because something appears, that it's, here we go again with the universe, right? That it's the universe telling us to do it. And it's really hard when we digest these sound bites that we hear from everywhere. Oh, the universe just directed me here. It's like, okay, sure, but sometimes you're directed to places you're not supposed to be so that you can actually feel it, so that you can know in your gut that it's not right for you. But then once you actually go and do the thing that you think the universe is pushing you to do, it's hard to really listen to your own instinct after you're there and say, I don't actually want to do this, because you think the universe sent you there, ... because that's where you're supposed to be. But I guess if people are going to have this thought that there's some universe pushing them to something, don't forget the other option, which is it could be to show you what you actually don't want. And ultimately, you do have free will. Look, you don't have free will about gravity. You can't just fly around. I call myself a chips and salsa vegetarian. Whenever I go anywhere and there isn't something vegetarian on the menu, I'm fine. When I go to dinner, I don't care. Bring me to a steakhouse, no problem. I'll just eat bread and have wine. The point of going out to dinner is the bread and the wine. I've been very good as a disciple of Jesus. It seems that's all they ate at dinner. You don't have to keep talking to me, but I think they have lentil soup. I don't want lentil soup. Do you make lentil soup at home? I do. I soak it. We soak for 3 days, and then when it's moldy, we take it. People who are vegetarians never talk about it. And vegetarians back me up. It's only people who eat meat. They're constantly focused on what we're eating, what we're not eating. Why are you a vegetarian? I just want to have some bread and wine. Can we just shut up and enjoy the dinner? Let's talk about what about protein? Spinach has protein, motherfuckers. You ever seen Popeye? Stop obsessing about protein. We get plenty. Oh, Biden wants to take your hamburgers away. I mean, these people, and they do, but they manage to scare people. There's going to be more black people than white people by this year. What do you want? One more TV show about fucking selling your stuff at a pawn shop? Oh no, we might have one less TV show about that if white people aren't the majority. Literally grow up. You're so afraid of everything. And then people go, oh, you sheep aren't wearing your masks. You're afraid. And then everyone goes, I'm not afraid. I'm wearing a mask to be patriotic. That's great. I'm not afraid to admit I'm fucking afraid. Yeah, I don't want to get COVID. I don't want to be on a ventilator dying alone. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't want to get just the version of COVID where you get a cold, but you die of a heart attack for no reason a year later because you had some invisible long haul symptom. Yeah, I'm afraid. I'll do it for the patriotism, but to really get me into it, tell me how it affects me. You could die. Oh, I'm putting the mask on. Let's fucking be honest. We are afraid. Is that bad? Someone that's carrying a machine gun to Burger King, they're not afraid?